On today's Technobabble, why YouTube may not be the best choice for your church's live streaming host.
This is Technobabble, your weekly source for church video and graphics news, perspectives, tips, and tricks. And now here's your host, Paul Clifford.
Hi, and welcome again to another episode of Technobabble. This is the show where every week we talk all about using video and graphic design in the church. Recently, we've been talking about live streaming, so if you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to leave them below the video or hit me up over at my email address, paul@trinitydigitalmedia.com, or on Twitter, PaulAlancliffe, PaulAlancliffe. Either of those work perfectly fine. So when YouTube first opened up live streaming and I was able to get in on it, I started to think, wow, this is great. I think that this will be perfect for churches with lower budgets and things like that, until I started playing with it. And there are two really big gotchas that I want you to think about when it comes to YouTube. First, there is no universal embed code. What this means is, I'm a big fan of owning your feed, owning your traffic, etc. So if for some reason you could no longer use YouTube, let's say you found that out on a Thursday, how would the people that come to your live stream on the weekend, how would they know that? Really, I'm serious. How would they know that? If you send them to YouTube and your YouTube channel is shut down completely, how would they know it? The answer is they wouldn't. And that goes for any live host. If you send your traffic to a specific website and you have a problem with them, or they shut down your account, or they're hosted on a server offshore that gets taken down for some reason, who knows? Doesn't matter why, but for some reason you have to switch after your previous service and before the next one, how will the people in your online congregation know? Well, the answer is you should embed your traffic on your own website, and if you have that problem, no problem, you just change the embed code and the problem is solved. Well, with YouTube there is an embed code, but it changes from week to week. YouTube is designed for the rare live streaming event, not the week in and week out, same time, same place, same group of people live stream event like a church service is. So that's problem number one, that you could quite easily lose your traffic because of sending them directly to YouTube. And even if you didn't, you have to change the embed code every single week, so that's extra work. So you're actually paying for it, you're paying for it in the effort to use it. But the second and larger issue is copyright. Now, it's not necessarily that I want you to violate copyright, I don't. I want you to get a license that allows you to live stream all the music that you are going to use in your church. Now, if you only use hymns that are over, say, 100 years old, you're probably fine. But not all hymns are in the public domain. Of course, Pass It On, written in the 70s, isn't in the public domain. But there are actually some hymns that you wouldn't think were still under copyright that actually are. So do some research and realize it could be that some of our favorite hymns we can't stream either. With that said, even if you're more contemporary, you can get an appropriate license from either CCLI or the church copyright people. Either way, they have different licenses based on your needs that allow you to live stream. Here's the problem though. YouTube expects that you will make contact with any record company that owns the rights to the music that you're using directly and have them put you on a whitelist. That's kind of a lot of work, especially since you've already bought the license to do that. So their policy is really designed for people that are using one song occasionally in a stream, or they're using the same song week in and week out, and they can contact the record company one time. But in this case, you would have to each week have your song list in advance, contact every record company and get approval, and then move on, even though you already have a license that should allow you to do that. Do you see the problem? Now, what if you don't? Well, you could slide by. I'm not saying that that's impossible, but Content ID is good enough that it quite often will pick up even a song that your band does with a slightly different arrangement as a violation of copyright material. And it's possible that they will pull down your live stream during church. Now you might be thinking, well, that's never happened. Yeah, it has. I've talked to churches that it's happened to. So the problem really isn't copyright, because I want you to follow the law. We've got Romans 13 that says to follow the law. No, the problem is that you have a license. You're allowed to use it, but there's no way to talk to a human at YouTube and say, hey, we've got this license. I'm faxing you over a copy. I'm forwarding you the email, whatever. I've got proof. Please put me on a whitelist, because they just don't do that. And if they don't do that, you're really at risk of having your feed be pulled down during church. Now, the next question that you might have is, well, we'll just not do any music up front. Perfectly okay. Here's the problem. Let's say your church service starts at 11 a.m. on Sunday morning or Saturday or whenever. Let's say it starts at 11. It starts at 11, and at 11:30 the message typically starts. So that's when you start the live stream. What if the band plays a little too fast and your live stream starts at 11:25 one week? What if the next week the worship leader led by the Spirit goes an extra 5 minutes? What if it's an extra 10? What if it's 10 minutes earlier? You see, you need to train the people online when to show up, and exactly on time is hard enough. But, oh, this week we're going to be 5 minutes early. Next week we're going to be 10 minutes late. That's just craziness. So that's really not a very good solution. The only thing that I could think of is if you were to, in fact, delay the live stream. So if you said, yes, we will every week start at 11:30 and do the message then, make sure that every week you finish worship at 11:25 and you delay the stream by 5 minutes. If you quit a little early, delay the stream by 10 minutes. Maybe you would use a TiVo or some system like that. But basically the idea is that you delay your live stream just a bit so that people can always join it right when it starts, right when the message starts. That's really the best idea I have. So it's really a convoluted system to use YouTube. I love YouTube live streaming, and as soon as they fix these ideas, I think they'll be great. I mean, it would work fine for me because I don't use copyrighted music in my shows. But what about your church? What about re-embedding stuff? It can get really tedious. And so while it's free, looks like you're paying in other ways. Well, I hope that helped you. I hope that it helped you and your church in what you're doing. If you'd like more information from me, by all means, head over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/gifts, GIFTS. And I have some gifts there for you that you can sign up to get free copies of one of my books, a video course, things like that. Sign up and you'll also get a free subscription to my email newsletter, which I deliver stuff usually weekly, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. But I look forward to having you do that. Until next time, go out and change eternity. This is Paul Allen Clifford with TrinityDigitalMedia.com.